covering last night's New Roads Council meeting, the police chief said that you guys, the Pointe Coupee Sheriff's Office, reached out to the police department when it comes to, I guess, police protection at the home on Bayou Run Drive?
Yes, ma'am. Well, I can explain that process to you. On Monday mornings at 9 o'clock, we have a staff meeting at our detective office, which is on Hospital Road. All of my people are there, my uniform patrol people, and we invite Kevin and his head deputies to come to the meeting. In that way, we can find out what took place over the weekend, and we do have a very good working relationship with the New Road City Police, the chief of police, of course, and the mayor. So we meet every Monday to try to discuss what took place. If there's a big case, we work on them together, like a murder or something like that. So my uniform patrol people was bringing forward towards me and my chief deputy about the number of calls that we were getting from that group home. So it seemed like it was a large number of calls, and they presented that to us at that meeting. And what we wanted to do is to try to get a meeting with the mayor, since I think he's the owner of this place. And we wanted to talk to him about the number of calls, and that some of the calls that probably does not warrant the sheriff's office involvement. Stuff like a child walking out the door saying, "Hey, I'm not going back in." You know, that's a discipline problem that probably should be handled in-house. So we wanted to set up a meeting with the mayor to talk about that. So about at the end of March, in the middle of April, beginning of April, we set up a meeting. We were invited to a meeting with the mayor after one of our Monday morning meetings. So at that meeting, we discussed in depth how many calls we had at this place, and Chief McDonald was at our meeting at 9 o'clock. And then he talked to the mayor in that meeting. He said, "Hey, look, the mayor wants to meet with us to talk about this. So after this meeting, we're going to go visit with the mayor." So I had Chief Geoffrey on with me, Chief McDonald, and we go to meet the mayor.
So who initiated this meeting?
They did. Now, we did want to have a meeting because we was going to express our concerns about the number of calls, number one, and that we didn't think some of the calls warranted a sheriff's deputy to go to the place when it was just merely disciplinary problems that they was having at the facility. So while we was in that meeting at 9 o'clock, the chief made contact with the mayor, and we was invited to go to visit with the mayor at another location, and we had a meeting. So we go to visit with the mayor, and they offered to help us in this situation, saying that they knew most of the kids and some of the parents, that they would like to try to mentor some of them to try to help with the call volume. And I'm not sure why they was saying that we asked for help there. We didn't call them and ask them for help. We was calling them to have a meeting to tell them, "Hey, look, we're getting a lot of calls. Some of them we don't think are warranted." And I can tell you, I think we have approximately, since we took over in July the 1st, a year ago, we got 129 calls to that place.
129 calls.
129 calls. A lot of medical calls, a lot of 103Ds, disturbances, 103Fs, fights. And usually when you get a call, I mean, you're sending at least 2 deputies there. I mean, you don't want to send 1 deputy there when there's a fight going on. So it's a large number of calls, and it's a lot of man hours going to this one facility.
And you said 129 calls since February of this year?
No, ma'am, since July.
Since July of this year?
Of July last year.
Last year, okay.
Since we have taken over. Yes, ma'am.
So it's been about a year.
About a year, a little over a year. Yes, ma'am.
Is that a lot, though, in a 1 year's time frame at the same location?
Yes, ma'am, that's a lot. Okay. It's a lot of calls, a lot of man hours sitting at that one place.
So you were telling me that they actually suggested, hey, they'll step in and help?
Yes, ma'am. They offered to help since they know most of not all of them, and they know some of those children there, and know some of their parents, and that they would like to help, maybe mentor those people. And I said, well, if y'all get there first, I don't have a problem with that, but I mean, we're going to do what we have to do as the sheriff's office.
Well, okay then. That is completely opposite of what was said last night at the meeting by the police chief.
I've had a couple phone calls about that, so I'm not sure what took place at the meeting or why, but this is exactly how it took place. We were going to meet with the chief and the mayor, especially the mayor since it's his place, and we just wanted to tell him, hey, look, we're getting a lot of calls. Some of them we think are warranted, and some of them are not warranted. So we just wanted to see if they're following. We wanted to make sure that his personnel was following the protocol and not just calling the sheriff's office every time there was a disturbance. And so we got a brochure of their protocols, and so that was what the meeting was about, to find out when should we be called, what their staff should be doing, and what they should be handling before they called the sheriff's office on every little call. So
okay.
That's why we wanted to have a meeting with them.
Okay.
And then so they called us to the meeting.
Okay.
And we met with them, and then they offered help in that way, saying that they thought it would be a good idea, that if they could get there and mentor some of these people, that would be a good thing.
Okay. Now, I also spoke to the district attorney, Tony Clayton, and he was telling me that for now, he is not moving forward with any charges or anything, because he has put the investigation back to you guys to basically give him a little bit more thorough of an investigation. Any response to that?
On which investigation?
On the mayor. If there are any charges against the mayor.
About the situation in New Orleans?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and on that situation there, all we can do there is open the investigation, and since everything took place in New Orleans, we're turning that over to the Attorney General's office. We've spoken to the representative with the AG's office that's handling that affair, and that's going to have to go through them. We don't have any jurisdiction in New Orleans to further this investigation. So all we can do is open it and send it to the AG's office.
Okay.
And they are the ones that's going to have to conduct the investigation.
Okay. Sheriff, is it normal to have city officers working outside of the city?
Oh, I think that was just the topic of the discussion last night. And of course, I have COVID, so I couldn't go to that meeting last night. I would have loved to go to it. I'm not sure what their bylaws and protocol says on that situation.
But you, even as sheriff, are there other times when New Roads officers are coming out to respond to things outside of the city?
Not too often.
Okay.
And are you talking about it like in the parish, or are you talking about
yes,
way
sir.
off like in New Orleans?
No, sir. Inside of Pointe Coupee Parish, but outside of New Roads.
Oh, okay. I think that the chief and I have been knowing each other for a very long time, and if there is a real bad situation, I think we're going to help each other out, no matter where the line is.
Of course. I mean,
yes,
I guess my question is more so not an emergency. God forbid there was an emergency, then I completely understand. But I mean, on a normal day-to-day call, if there is something going on outside of the city limits but inside the parish, is it often that New Roads Police responds?
Well, no, ma'am. Not on normal day-to-day non-emergency call. No, we would handle everything.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you would like to add?
No, ma'am.